Assalamualaikum. Good morning. This is Naaila, contributing counselor with About Islam. As you all know, I am that lady who does the things in regard to marriage and relationships. Because the first relationship is a relationship that you have with yourself, and a crucial one is your relationship with Allah. So, as always, as you come in, I want to know who's here, where are you from. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. I travel a lot. I have yet to be able to say I'm in another city. I always try to schedule these so that I am rooted and I'm in my home base. So that way I can have my regular connection with all of you. I do have some planned questions. I have some questions that have been sent in. Always remember that you can send in your questions that can be answered by a counselor or someone here at About Islam, and it does not have to be me. There are wonderful, wonderful people here who are experienced, who will be able to assist you. So I do have some questions that have already been sent in. And again, remember, I see folks coming in. Let me know where you are. What city are you hailing from? What time is it where you are? It's a pretty day here. It's gotten fall, so it's a little cool. Someone said, what's that engine sound? I don't hear an engine. You might have heard my heater. My heater is on, but it just went off. Man, it's a little cool here. So I do have some heat to keep me a little toasty until I get some hot tea this morning. Okay, so I have, as always, y'all know I have a great team of folks behind me to keep me straight, to keep all these different windows open, and to keep me organized. Oh, we have someone from Tallahassee and Detroit. Great. I've been to Tallahassee. I've been to Florida a couple of times. So we're neighbors, kind of, sort of. Georgia and Florida are right there next to each other. Right, so today I do have questions specifically in regard to a couple of different types of relationships. And I also want you to know that while you are here, you can send in a question. If you send in a question while we're still here, the About Islam team, they will get it to me, and I'll be checking our messages so that I won't miss. I'll try my best not to miss anyone, inshallah, before we end. You can also put your questions up here while we're together, and I will do my best to be able to keep up and be able to answer your questions. All right, so we have a good group. Oh, it's 9:30. It's almost 9:30 here too, Elena. It's a nice, blessed morning. Alhamdulillah. As my mother, she would say, my mother would say that this is a day that God has made. And she would say it's a day we've never seen before. We've seen lots of Wednesdays, but we haven't seen this Wednesday before. Isn't that beautiful? Alhamdulillah. So the first question here is, Assalamu alaikum. I'm not going to say the person's name. I'm going through a very tough time. I've been married for a year and lived only 4 months with my husband, and he's abusive in every way. And I need a divorce. I don't understand what to do as I feel empty. I tried my best, but he was never happy. And I don't know if I should ask for a divorce or get a kula. How am I going to survive this? I don't know. No, but please give me some advice. Because no one understands what it is that I'm going through. Doesn't this sound sad? That sounds like a very sad situation to be in, especially for someone that's been married for such a short time. It's only been a year, and they've only lived together for 4 months. So I'm going to say to you, sister, because this is such a new marriage, but you also are talking about abuse. And I don't know what type of abuse it is. You don't give that type of information. And so, and that's okay, because you don't have to, because abuse is abuse. It hurts. Either way, I don't know of any type of abuse that's going to feel good. So what I am going to suggest, I'm going to suggest a couple of things. First, I'm going to suggest that the two of you get counsel. And when I say that, I'm not even going to say it has to be professional counseling. Sometimes people can get really good advice from an elder, from a family friend. I will also tell you, in regard to men, one of the things that I've learned about men, it is crucial for you to get someone that he respects. Because it's very, very hard for someone to listen to a person that they don't respect. So if you can find an elder or an advisor that you know your husband will respect, and the two of you sit down and have some mediation. This is something that Allah says for us to do in the Quran. He says, bring one for her and bring one for him. So let's look at some type of consultation before we go to divorce. You haven't mentioned that anything has been tried here. The second thing I'm going to say is that you said, I've tried. I really did try, and he was never happy with what I did. So I'm going to give you a tip that I give other couples when they're going through things. Sometimes we have this tendency to speak in very, very general terms. I want you to be kind. I want you to spend more time with me. I want you to talk to me more. I want you to be a bit more spiritual. Those sound great, right? But what does being more spiritual mean? What does being more kind mean? If you want me to spend more time with you, how do you want me to spend more time with you? If those things are not clear, you will feel like, yeah, I did it. I'm hitting the mark, and you're still not happy. No, I want you to go back and get some very, very clear information about what it is that this man wants. Whatever it is that he asked you for, be clear so that you can be sure about what it is that you need to do. No one's going to be 100% all the time, but I know that you will always be 0% if you are giving the wrong behavior your 100%. You've got to know what it is that you need to do. The last thing that I'm going to suggest that you do is, you said, how am I going to survive this? I'm feeling so empty. And there's something that I advocate all the time, and that is, and this is for men and for women, but it's something that particularly women do, and which is for us to ensure that even after marriage, we still do things that make us happy. And so if you're married and you're feeling empty, it is going to be your obligation to fill in those gaps in your life. Where else is it that we have emptiness, that we don't go out and get what it is that we need? If I'm hungry and I come home and there isn't anything to eat here, or there's no food already prepared, what do? I go somewhere else. I go somewhere to get something to eat. I go somewhere to get something to nourish me. So I want us to look at marriage the same way. Your marriage is not going to be your everything. And even when it, for whatever reason, doesn't feel good, look for a way to close in that gap. Because if not, you're going to feel empty for a very, very, very long time. Okay, I'm hoping, inshallah, that makes sense. I don't know whether or not you're listening. I know sometimes the people who send the questions in, they are listening, and they let me know. Oh, walaikum salam. We have someone from Nigeria. Glad to have you here. Salam alaikum, Craig. Good to see you. Okay, Usman. Is that Pavia? I don't know how to pronounce it. You're going to have to tell me where that is. I think wherever it is, you may be, you're our first person from that place, because I don't think I've seen that one before, but I'm glad that you're here. All right, so I'm going to go to the next question. This one, I'm going to condense it a little bit because it's got a lot of details in it, okay? It has come upon the first year of my anniversary, and during this year, I did many things to be with my husband. I ran away with him to a foreign country, forgave him when he attempted to cheat on me 3 days after our marriage, was voluntarily homeless with him and below freezing temperatures in his country. Excuse me. I have a deal with my husband emotionally. I have dealt. Okay, it's dealt. I have dealt with my husband emotionally, verbally, psychologically, financially, sexually, and physically abusing me. That's a lot, isn't it? I've had to deal with my husband trying to make me use controlled substances, and his refusing to teach me Islam and telling me that my attempts to be a better Muslim made him dislike Islam. A few weeks ago, I tried to give him divorce papers and he convinced me he'd be better. And I ended up tearing them up and giving him his 13th or his 15th chance. He's told me that he'll be better, and he has been different. He no longer yells at me. He is sweet. He still does a lot of things I don't like, but at least he's not abusing me. Alhamdulillah. But I think I love him like I used to anymore. For months, I've thought about being with someone else, someone that really loves me. And continuing to be with my husband causes me a lot of stress. I know the person he is, and I know he will never be willing to love me the way I love him. Even if I left my husband, he doesn't necessarily have anywhere to live, and he is estranged from his family. For me, because of a lot of things that have happened over the last few months, my mental state is fragile. In addition to the prior mental illness that I've felt for almost 10 years, my ability to work is limited, and I'm struggling financially. My mother won't let me back into her house again. I have no friends, and I know no one in this Muslim country where I live. And I have a very, very, very severe social phobia, which causes making friends impossible. My in-laws consider me like their second daughter, but I doubt it would be appropriate to stay there. So I have nowhere to go either. And I've asked and I've prayed for help for months and nothing. All right, so there's a lot packed. There's a lot packed here. And there are a couple of things here, just so much here to address. Hi, Trudy. I remember you from last time. I'm glad to see you're back. So I want to start. This is where do I want to begin on this one? Okay, so I'm going to start backwards and work my way up. Okay. I'm going to say, I am concerned in regard to, you said you've had some prior mental illness that you felt for 10 years. You said you felt it. You didn't say you treated it. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm definitely going to strongly recommend, because your symptoms are helping you to make judgments in your marriage. Your symptoms are helping you to make judgments in your entire life, because they're not going anywhere, because you're not treating them. And then again, I don't know if you are, but you didn't say you were. So definitely going to say the first thing is so you can get some clarity, so you can get some of this cloudiness out, so you can be able to make better choices and decisions for yourself and for your entire life, to be able to get that treated. And perhaps you will even feel even better about being able to go work. And when you can do that, some of that will just naturally fix some of the other things in your life, such as, the struggles that you are having with your finances. Now, in regard to your extended family, there's a lot of things going on there. And I do know that there are some things here that you put in your message that I did not read aloud, because there's some background here. There's some background information here with your family unit that you did not, that has not been addressed. You did tell me that there's some very severe PTSD. That's some very severe post-traumatic stress disorder. So that means that there's some sort of trauma from the back that's in your present today. Again, this is something else that will need to be addressed, because if those traumas, if those intrusive thoughts, if the abuse, I don't know, whatever it is, I know that you indicated some things, and I want to protect your privacy. So if those things are coming up and are living with you today, that's definitely an area that you're going to need to tap into to give yourself some ease, because it just makes all the other areas of your life even more difficult. Okay, so touched on those two things, because those things are really about you. This is not just about your marriage, but this is about the relationship with yourself, and even your relationship with Allah, which is the next thing. You mentioned some struggles here. You said, I don't even see the point of being a Muslim anymore. So I'm going to say to you, and I don't know how much you're practicing right now. So I will definitely say, if you can, inshallah, do your prayers. And some people say, well, I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm going through the motions. Well, you know what? I surely believe in the power of Allah. Go to Him. Allah says when you take one step towards Him, that He takes two steps towards you. But you have to be in position just to make the first step. So do your prayers. If you can, please make dua. Play the Quran in the house. Do one of these things or do all of these things. Get up for the night prayers, because those prayers have a power and a might that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So there are so many other things that you can do so that you can create a connection. And what I'm just saying, just be in the position for the connection to happen. Just show up. And I believe that Allah, inshallah, He will do His part with you. All right. So we still have to get to the marriage. What do we do about the marriage? Because you're already saying, I want a divorce. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to do this. Before you ask for a divorce, do those things that I just recommended to you. See if you can address the issues that you have as an individual before you try to address the issues that you have with another person. You're definitely going to have concerns and problems, and stuff is just going to be off with another person when things are off with you. So this is what I'm going to ask that you do. To do you first before you venture out into the other area. Okay? Inshallah. All right, so this is my last question for right now. Okay? So it says, hi. I'm not going to say the person's name because of the sensitivity of it. It says, I am abused. What does Islam say about child abuse? As a personal question, what should I do? I live in America. My mother works from home, and she hits me really hard for the smallest things. She says a lot of bad words to me and gives me many bad duas. She says that I'll go to the hellfire, that I'll never have children and never be loved by anyone, and she gives me no freedom. All of my friends are hanging out, but I didn't know what that was. What my friends did until recently, because my mother keeps me so enclosed. She does the same things with my sisters, I think. And she's very biased. She will tell me that my mother is dead and I'm a dog. And she will tell me to tell my sisters the same thing. But she also abuses my sisters too. And she has a favorite. She always has a favorite, so whenever she's mad at us for no reason, she's not mad at the one that's her favorite at the time. I don't know what to do. I don't like her a lot, but I don't want her to go to jail. And I've been dealing with this for a very long time, and I'm afraid that I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be this crazy psycho because of my horrible, unforgettable past. And what should I do? That made me feel very sad reading it, because I can tell just from what you're saying, it sounds like you're very, very young. And one of the things that I'm so much an advocate of is for children to have a happy childhood. A happy childhood is the imprint. This is the footprint for where for your adult life, for adulting. And so what does Islam say about child abuse? When it say emphatically it's wrong. That's the first thing. It's wrong. Children have rights too. And we can never assume that because a parent or a mother, has such high rights and such high rank, that rank and those rights that Allah gives a mother gives a mother the right to abuse a child. And because that's not true at all. So I'm going to say this. I don't know if you are homeschooled or if you go to school. I will say that you can definitely, I would say that you could go and you could speak to a guidance counselor at your school. You did say that you have friends, so perhaps these are people that you have met at the school system. So if your school has a guidance counselor or has a social worker, if you can confide in a teacher that you trust. You did say, I don't want my mother to go to jail. Well, fortunately, and based on what you've described, is that those are usually not things that they send a parent to jail for. Now, that is definitely something that they would help a parent with and help them learn how to be a better parent and give them some things so that they can reduce some of the stressors, because your mom, she may be under a lot of pressure herself. And I have absolutely no idea. And so when I say they, who is this they? That they would be going to the Department of Social Services and getting your mother and your family, your entire family, your mother and your sister and even yourself, getting your family some support. Because the goal there is not lock them up. That's not always true. And I know that this is something that many people are saying, I don't want that. I don't want them in my house. I don't want them knowing my business. In order to solve a problem, the problem has to be discussed. In order to solve the problem, you have to share some information with the people who are able to help you. And that's something that you will never be able to avoid. You cannot solve something by not talking about it. Okay? So the last thing is, I want you to know that this surely does not mean that you're going to be a crazy psycho with a horrible, unforgettable past. One, I believe in the power and the might of Allah, and He can definitely grant you ease. Two, if you go to a teacher, a guidance counselor, or even the Department of Social Services, your family would be able, especially you, to be able to get you some professional counseling services so that you can deal with some of those things that you are having, that you're experiencing currently, so you won't have a horrible, unforgettable past. And no, you are not crazy. And I know it has to be difficult to hear some of the things that you've mentioned, particularly from your mother. But I want you to know that those words do not define who you are, that those words do not determine who you are today, who you are going to be, and what Allah has planned for you. They do not make your decree. Those words are not your qadar. That is what, alhamdulillah, Allah does. He defines those things for us, okay? So while I know they're hard to hear, just know that it's not a stamp. It is not putting an imprint or a label on you. I do know that it's putting an imprint on your head and your heart, which is definitely why it's crucial for you to get some help. But it is not the determining factor for your future, inshallah. Okay? All right, so we have someone from We have someone here from Nashville. Pleased to have you from Nashville. So I am going to check and make sure that I don't have any questions that have been sent in since we've been together, so I can, okay, so I can keep up. Okay, I don't have any. Let me check. I got one more place to check. About Islam. They communicate with me in all kinds of ways. Okay, so no, I don't have any more for today. Thank you all for being here. I see the sad face emoji. I know there were some really sad ones that came in here today. And so let's make dua, for those who sent their questions in, who had one that they were fearful of sending in because of some type of judgment. Let's make dua for all of those. There are people who are suffering. There may even be someone here who just didn't say so today. So I pray that Allah will grant you ease, that He will send you comfort for your hearts. I pray that He will forgive us all for our sins, and that He will forgive us for the things that we did knowingly and for the things that we did unknowingly. Inshallah, I pray that I will see you here in 2 weeks. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.